Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Axia as we get started here with GT Meister Racing. We are just waiting for the few seconds actually, of free practice to close out, and we will be switching over to qualifying. I just want to thank every single one of you guys that have came to watch to see qualifying here as we wait for the final standings as everybody starts to go down. I'll just switch this up a little bit for you guys as we get going here. Wait till the 2 minutes and all that bug out and we can get started here. I just want to say thank you for all the people who have came to watch and definitely see the racing here at GT Meister Racing. And we see Jashke up front in P1 in this free practice session. As we get started, we had a break week last week, so we weren't able to showcase a whole lot for you there. And here we are back for round number 5 at Silverstone. So this is definitely going to be an interesting race with the 16 drivers here in front of us here as we get going. See, as we get started too, we're going to watch these drivers get out going here. Switch this up around here and change a few things, get to the broadcasting view, and here we go. Qualifying has started and the drivers are going out right now. We are riding along with Brian Douglas in that McLaren. He has showed a lot of strong pace. He lucked out at Nürburgring, running out of fuel, falling himself down the order in the overall standings. Let's take a look at the overall standings. We've got Douglas right now. He is sitting 6th right now. He's actually tied with his fellow McLaren driving, Chrysler Yort. And Yort has been driving substantially fast here in this in the free practice session, so it'd be definitely interesting to see where he lines himself up. Actually, Yort is right behind him. So will Yort out-qualify him in the starting rounds of this qualifying session as these drivers are going around? That'll be definitely an interesting, and we'll definitely keep an eye on Mr. Enrique as he has just came out, and he's a new driver here with us, number 11 in the Ferrari. So he's sitting back. So we're going to ride along board with Brian Douglas as he comes around. It should be a few more corners, and he'll be getting onto the main straight here at Silverstone. And definitely keep an eye on that. So right now, our top big fighters in the overall championship here at GT Meister Racing is Lane Xander. He is ahead by 21 points compared to, I believe it is Eric Howell, who could not make it due to the fact that he has work. So what a shame there for him. He's definitely going to be lucking out for this race as we go through here, as we start to see Brian Douglas going through those S's, looking super strong, and he's got Mr. Yort right behind him, chasing him down. We'll see he'll be putting the car provisionally on pole as D. Rosso has been able to join us. Yep, he is running the Porsche. Comes through here. Douglas making his way down the hill, looking beautiful on the attack as he goes around. See what he can do as he'll be going onto the F1 straight here shortly. See what he can do. Yort is still all over the back of him in this qualifying session. Lane Xander's up 2 tenths. Jaschke's up 3. Right now it's showing Yort is off 6 tenths. Brian Douglas, he is off 2, but he could probably make up time. See what Douglas can do with Yort following right behind him. Cuts a good amount of the track as he comes through. Down into the really nice decreasing and opening radius corners as he comes through. Time's not showing. Oh, Willie, that's because they haven't crossed the line yet. They're still working on their opening laps. As we see Brian Douglas crosses the line, he does a 2 minute point, 2 minute 1. Doesn't look like Andrew Jaschke with a 59.6 puts himself provisionally on pole here in this race. As we wait this out, as we go through, looks like Yort wasn't able to set a time, but Xander is up 5 tenths. Here he comes with the number 11 car ahead of him, and that is Ali from Australia. What does Ali be able to do? Xander puts the car on pole with a 59.4, 2 tenths ahead to Jaschke. Ali, 2.8 seconds. Oh, don't be sorry, Willie. It's all right. Just takes, it takes a while for the cars to go around the track. As we see, Silva, 4.3 seconds off the pace of Xander. Xander having a bit of a connection issue. He's been sliding around, but we're going to scroll down here and follow some other things. And here's Stefan Buckley coming through the S's of Maggots and Beckett's in that Ukraine benefit BMW here as he's coming through onto one of the back straights. As we see Jay Parks, USA, he's slotting himself P5, 4.110 faster than AJ Silva. As Alan Zhu, 3.7 off the pace of Andrew Jaschke. That's going to slot him up as Lane Xander. Let's see who's all moved. Bruce Hopkins slides himself into P5. He's 3 seconds off of Lane Xander. So right now, as the car's starting, yes, wow, he is open skates. Yes, he is. Willie, he is definitely open skates. But the question is can he keep that rolling here today in this race. James Parks is up 8/10. We see Willie Owens is off by 4/10. We're going to ride along board with the McLaren driver, James Parks. He is 8/10 up on his time. This would put him into that top 10 of P6 and P7 if he keeps the pace going. Now he's up 9/10. Hopefully you don't have a commentator curse here for James Parks as he's coming around the bends here in the McLaren. What can he do? Looking awfully racy here in that beautiful light blue and orange McLaren. A little bit of a designation of the golf cars. As he goes through, we're going to keep track and see who Aiden Hashbrook is up 8/10 on his. Oh, no, looks like he's a little off. We're going to definitely keep an eye on that in the long run. Bruce Hopkins is also up 9/10. We'll keep an eye on that. Mr. York's out qualifying his little competitor in the championship. Tykes slots himself P9. He's 2/10 up. What can Parks do? He's still up 8/10 as he's about to cross the line. Bam, slots himself up to P8 ahead of Zoo. Now we're going to switch over to Danny Tykes. He's 1.1. He's now a second up on his time as he's coming through. Can he push himself even further? As we see C. Bennett is joined in with us. Welcome, as he is in the Audi. He is a new driver with us. He has not raced with us yet. As we see Danny Tykes as he's coming through with a right-hander, and he's going to make his way onto the main straight. Ooh, and he catches the dirt. He's going to invalidate. Oh, he was up a whole second. What a shame there. Here we go, Aiden Hashbrook. He is one of our new contending fast drivers. He's sitting 8th in the championship, 1 point back from Bruce Hopkins, hoping to take this fight to Xander in the overall championship. Let's see what Hashbrook is capable of doing as he's coming through the fast left, utilizing all the curb, going as super late and super deep as possible that he can do. Be interesting to see how much he's able to push that car in this championship fight here. He is up 1.1 seconds of his time, so this would slot him into that P2, P3 category as Douglas now out-qualifies his main competitor of Chrysler York of that P5, P6 in the championship series here. So right now, so far in the championship series, Eric Howell and Andrew Cooper are going to fall out big time in the overall points. And if Xander can actually have a good race, as Jaschke puts his car on pole, and here goes Hashbrook. He is about to cross the line. What did he do? Puts a P2, 1.18 off the pace of Andrew Jaschke. Get it, son, as we drop down with Daniel Rizzo in that Porsche car. Can he? Ooh, the back end stepping out a little bit. We're still waiting to see times. AJ Silva is a little bit up on his time. We're waiting for Josh Kimball. Can he reel something in for us? He does. He slots himself P8 ahead of Ali. And he's about a whole second off of Stefan Buckley, so he may be able to reel him in. Looks like Cole Bennett in the brand new Audi still has yet to set a time, but hopefully he's able to do something good right there in that Audi and possibly make something work. Well, let's see who else we've got going around the track. We have Chrysler York. He is up 5/10 in that McLaren. He is running a special livery, ladies and gentlemen. Usually he's running a golf livery. He is sporting a bit of a McLaren F1 GT style paint scheme to showcase. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that to see how well he performs as he's coming around the bends here across the F1 main straight. Welcome to the viewers that are tuning in today as we are racing. We'll definitely keep an eye on Asby as he's 8/10 off of his time, so hopefully he's able to pick something up and make something happen here. So right now, so far in the championship standings, we have Lane Xander with 68 points in the Mercedes, but he is definitely taking a big hit with Andrew Jaschke sitting there overall P1. And we have Eric Howell sitting P2 in the Aston Martin in the overall championship series. Andrew Jaski, the guy who's sitting provisionally pole in P3. So this is definitely going to help himself out. So he's only 23 points behind Lane Zander. Andrew Cooper, P4 in the McLaren. He isn't here today with us. Chrysler York, Brian Douglas, we were talking about them earlier in qualifying. They're both sitting 5 and 6 tied with 33 points. Bruce Hopkins and Aiden Hashbrook, the 32 to 31, 7th and 8th in the overall championship. As Chrysler York is starting to reel them in as much as possible. And here we go to Alan Zhu. He is looking very onto the dirt. But we're going to jump over with Cole Bennett because he didn't lose any time, and he's up 3/10 on his time as he's coming down this long back straight up to this fast left-hand turn. What can he do? Can he get this Audi to perform a lot better through the corners? He's definitely looking super strong and steady here. Maybe he's able to set a very fast time. He's up 6/10 now. Asmi's managed to reel himself into 15th overall, only 2/10 off of Danny Tykes' time. This maybe if he's able to reel in a little bit more time as Asmi in that McLaren, he could possibly put himself further up the grid. Because I mean, all you need is just a few tenths, and you can slot yourself up into that top 15 order. For all those that do not know, here at GTMR Racing, we actually utilize, instead of Formula 1 point system, we use the MotoGP point system, so it's the actual top 15 points, and that allows us to have a much tighter spread with drivers as they are racing. And here comes Cole. He is getting onto the main straight. He's up about a second on his time. How much further up the grid does he go in that new Audi as he's across the line? Doesn't look like, did he improve? He did improve. He improved about 1.5 seconds. The question is, did he invalidate? That is definitely going to be an interesting one as to see what goes on, but he's still up 5/10. We're going to jump along board. Daniel Rizzo actually outqualified Bennett. He's at 5.9, so hopefully Bennett is able to make something happen as we see M. Enrique. He is sitting back there in 18th. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on them. Who else is up on their pace? I apologize. We're going to jump around here and see who else is moving up. As we see, we got 5 minutes left. Buckley's in the pits. Jashke's in the pits. Parks is in the pits. Zhu is in the pits. Asmi is in the pits. M. Enrique is really off the pace in that Ferrari. 15 seconds, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how well, if he's able to reel himself in. But right now, Cole Bennett and Daniel Rizzo, the driver in the Ferrari, both of these drivers are the only ones that are up 1 second on their times. We're going to take a look and see where Daniel Rizzo is at. 7:33. He just should have crossed the line, but the question is, did he invalidate? He did a 23.5. And that should have slotted him up a little bit higher. It looks like he possibly validated. We're going to go over to Cole as he's coming up to the last two corners. He's still up 1.1 seconds. This should put him a little bit higher. Let's see what he does around the last corner. Onto the main straight with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left to play. What can he do? And across the lineup, it's going to put him P16. He's definitely moving up the grid. He's losing a little time in certain spots. And we're going to drop down with Danny Tykes. He's up 6/10 on his time. And if he's able to reel that 6/10 in, that will put him in the top 10 against his main competitor, James Parks, the driver he has been battling out with every single race. He's only 1 point behind James Parks and AJ Silva in this championship series. So right now, Danny Tykes' main rival is AJ Silva. For the viewers that are watching, if you have an idea or you think, and yep, here he goes, slots himself up into P14. He just needs to find a little bit of time and to make things work here, and he could possibly move up a little bit further. For the viewers that are watching, who do you think is going to be the dark horse racer of this race? Who do you think is going to make the big moves here? And who do you think is going to fall out short? Please tell us in the chat who you think is definitely going to be a big mover. So let's keep an eye on who we've got moving. And right now, Josh Kimball is up 6/10. We're right along. Ooh, commentator curse, and the blinkers is on. Nice power slide by Josh Kimball as he goes through. And now we're going to switch back over to Daniel Rizzo. He is up 1.1 seconds in that Porsche as he's coming through. Keep an eye on him a little bit more. And he goes P15. Definitely making his move and his mark in that Porsche. Only 2/10 off of Danny Tykes and a 10th faster than Azmi from Singapore. As we, some of the drivers, to let you know where they are from. Let's see who else is moving up. We have been talking about Azmi, but we haven't seen him out on the track. He's showing glimpses of being fast. Here comes Azmi around the bend. The back end is sliding. Here he goes onto the straight. Now let's see what he can do. Definitely looking good and stable here. The Singapore driver is looking good on the fast rights. Let's see what he can do here as he goes through this bend. Nice and play. Ooh, a little bit of a snap steer there on the McLaren. Down in the left-right section. Here he goes through the chicane. We got 1 minute and 55 seconds left to play. Here he goes. Looks like, oh, he is actually off 7/10. Must have lost it somewhere there in the gas moment. But here we're going to switch over to Daniel Rizzo. He is actually up 8/10 as he's coming through onto the secondary short chute before the left right hand turn. And then he's onto the main straight. If he can still keep this all together, he will actually slide himself up, hopefully into that top 10. Which he's been wanting to do with that Porsche. This is definitely not a track for the high downforce of what the Porsche is here in ACC, as we start to see Daniel Rizzo go through onto the main straight. Runs it super wide across the line. P10, he goes 2/10 ahead of James Parks in the McLaren. Now we have AJ Silva. He is up 2/10 now. If he can reel this in and use the line of the other Ferrari driver of Josh Kimball in front of him, he can move up further the grid. Here he goes through in that nice red-toned Ferrari. Looks like he's trying to rock out that Scuderia Rosso paint scheme there. See what he can do. He's still 4/10 up. Rosso is now 5/10 up. Rosso still showing excessive amount of pace. Seems like it's just coming to him now here in this race. We have 20 seconds left to play here as Azmi's now found 5/10. M. Enrique has found about a second, but it's starting to waver in and out. Here we go. AJ Silva 5/10 up on his time with the toe of. We have 3 Ferrari drivers about to cross the line, and let's see what they can do. Looks like Andrew Jaschke must be doing either a victory lap or maybe possibly going to try to set a good time here as we come through. AJ Silva is up a full second as they come through. M. Enrique, did he back out of it? Looked like he did. He lifted just a pinch. And here they go and across the line. Silva slots himself into P10. Right behind Josh Kimball, 4/10 off as he goes super wide. Azmi now 3/10 up. He's coming through the last final couple corners. Danny Tykes is done. We're just waiting on Xander, Jaschke, Rizzo, Azmi. Here they go. Is Xander on a fire? He is about a 10th up on his time. That's going to bring him closer to Hashbrook as they come through. But can Azmi make something happen? He's up a second. Come on, Azmi. Here you go through the final corner. Come on, buddy, you can do this. He has improved a lot, ladies and gentlemen, from what he was when he first joined the league. He has showed a lot of pace and performance. He is up a full entire second, and across the line he goes into 12th. Into 12th. Nice job, Asby. Way to bring that car in the back of the pack and slot himself up further. What a wonderful job by Asby. As we wait for the qualifying session is over, and there you have it. Andrew Jaschke, P1. Aiden Hashbrook, P2. Xander, P3. Meister, York, P4. Brian Douglas, P5. Buckley, P6. Hopkins, 7. Ollie, 8. Kimball, 9th. AJ Silva, 10. Daniel Rosso, 11th in that Porsche. Managed to put himself further up. Asmi doing a beautiful drive for Singapore. In that McLaren, slotted himself up to 12th. James Parks, 13th. Peter David having a little bit of struggle with that Aston Martin. He's sitting P14, and right now in the championship series, Peter David is 15th overall, tied with Tristan Luis, who is not here in the BMW. So if he actually has a very good run, he can actually make his way out of this and make his way up. So definitely be an interesting one to see, to say the least. You know, Cole Bennett bringing himself into P17, definitely a struggle of a performance, but, you know, he's definitely looking good. The start of the race, anything can happen. Yeah, I mean, M. Enrique in that Ferrari is definitely going to have to show a lot more performance as we are waiting for the timer for the drivers to count down. We have 1 minute 45 seconds left to play. For the viewers that are watching, if you have anybody that you're thinking that possibly could win this race, let us know. Lane Xander's definitely going to have an interesting one with the championship series overall, especially with the drivers of Andrew Jaschke and Aiden Hashbrook coming out swinging for the team here. It's definitely going to be an interesting one as we get through here. So let's see what we have here. So overall right now, our big fights that we are going to keep an eye on is Meister, York, and Brian Douglas, number 4 and 5 in the grid. Those two McLaren drivers are tied with 33 points in the overall. Bruce Hopkins, number 7, he's only 1 point behind them. And what they don't know is Aiden Hashbrook, P2, he's right behind Bruce Hopkins by 1 point. Now, we also know Buckley, Stefan Buckley. He's had a few horrible races. He's sitting 20th right now, but he's looking super strong. This is going to help him move up because Peter LaFrance, Jamie Morrison, they're not racing. Josh Kimball, he's out-qualified him. Josh Kimball's sitting P9. Josh Kimball is only 4 points back from Aiden Hashbrook in the overall championship series. So with this makes it a little bit easier for Stefan Buckley to make something happen. We know he's got a lot of strong pace and he's got a lot of strong performance. So we have 8 seconds before we get the full formation lap and we get going, ladies and gentlemen. This is an amazing battle that we have here going on. The question is what can these drivers do as the BMW of Andrew Jaschke pulls out and he is rolling. Let's see, who else do we have that's in close fights? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have James Parks. Where is he? He is right there in P13. He is sitting there in the 17th overall championship points with 10 with AJ Silva. AJ Silva is sitting 10th right now in this race. In the Ferrari, he is tied. So he is going to have to make something happen in that Ferrari. He's going to have to move up the grid and make something happen as we get started here in this race. If he wants to take the fight to James Park, but this is the issue, because Danny Tykes, the 15th driver, one of the originals here at GTMR Racing, who came here when we were originally with Breakout Racing League. He is looking super strong. He is only 1 point back from James Parks and is tied with AJ Silva with 9 points. He's sitting P15, so he can make anything happen here. And just ahead of them in the championship series, Peter David, six points ahead of them. So it's definitely going to be an interesting. And the newcomer, Alan Zhu, what is he going to do with that Porsche? We know he's fast. We know he's performant. He can perform very well. The drivers have told me that on the grid. He's a very smart, very intelligent driver, rocking that beautiful matte black and red striped Porsche there. Hopefully that does not make the car overheat. In the game it won't, but you never know. As we see the drivers are coming around halfway through the grid. Well, Xander definitely looking like he really wants to make something happen. For those that didn't know, he is rocking the #1 car. This was something new in the beginning of the championship series. He wanted to rock the #1 car because he won the championship last year. But he wasn't expecting people to practice and Fast Boys to come out. Guess what? Fast Boys are here. And they're here to take the push to Xander in this overall championship series. Take a small breather for the announcer before we get going here at the start of this race. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The last of the cars are coming up to the grid, and you're about to see some of the fastest drivers here at GTMR Racing battle it out here as we wait just a few more turns. I apologize, and we will be getting away. Here we go, side by side. The drivers are lining up. Andrew Jaski, Aiden Hashbrook, 1, 2, Xander and York, 3 and 4. As we come through, definitely time to see how these drivers perform as they go through. This is a rolling start, and we're waiting for the green to go by the announcer. Here they go. Yin and yang, white and black. What can the Beamer do with the McLaren? As we wait for the green lights and as they come up to the line. Green, 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 and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at, looks like one of the drivers in the back is making a move, and Hashbrook makes it past. Ooh, past Jaski, and there goes Xander side by side. Here they go through. Xander definitely taking a look. Ooh, Jaski tried to push it. He tapped. He tapped. There goes Aiden Hashbrook. He had to take the exit road. Brian Douglas definitely gets the shunt of the lifetime. But here they go side by side. Aiden Hashbrook ahead of Jaski because that's where they were in the race. Jaski's definitely going to take a look and try to make something happen. There's go Chrysler York side by side down the back straight into the fast right. Here they go. Xander definitely trying to make something happen as he's looking on the inside of Jaski. But Xander's definitely looking super racy. Down into 3. Here they go into the corners. Side by side. Hashbrook still holding his own. Jaski is going to try to go around the outside. Xander definitely getting a beautiful run. And there's Stefan Buckley right behind those 3 drivers as they make their way onto the second straight. Here they go. Hashbrook definitely still holding it side by side as the battles continue as they go through. Stefan Buckley trying to make something happen here on these 3 drivers in front of him. He's going to have to stick with them as they go through. Brian Douglas, he may have fell short, but he's sitting P13 and he's going to try to make his way up. Zeus slots him up to P11 as they make their way. We're going to jump down with AJ Silva, and it looks like Xander lost it out big time, as he is definitely falling back with Jaski. So this is definitely going to allow Aiden Hashbrook to make the move and push. As now we see Josh Kimball and Allen Zoo battling it out here in the back. Kimball around the outside. Zoo covered the inside. Now Kimball's going to be on the inside. But Brian Douglas is right behind them, and he's looking mighty fast. Oh, Ollie is off. What a shame there for Ollie. Hopefully he's able to remake the race and make something happen there in that Lexus. And here goes Brian Douglas. He has slotted himself up to P9, and he's going to work his way back up. And York is in P2. And York is P2. Hopkins is P3. Aiden Hashbrook is still leading the race as Douglas is losing a little bit. Ooh, Kimball catching a lot of the curb, making Douglas work for it. And Douglas has left his blinker on. James Park definitely looking super strong as Cole Bennett, the driver who was in last, worked his way up to P12. He's making things happen here in this race. We're trying to keep all the action as we go through here. We're going to jump aboard. Oh, look, Cole Bennett's making his way through James Parks, tries it on the inside. James Parks gives him the space as he goes through. What happened to Stefan Buckley? Something's wrong with Stefan. Oh my God, something happened with Stefan Buckley in the race. No, what happened to Buckley? Hopefully Buckley can make something happen here in this race. I don't know what happened to him. What a shame there as we work our way back through the grid here as we ride along board with AJ Silva. He still has Josh Kimball all over the back of him as they work their way up the grid. And here they go through. AJ Silva has Josh Kimball and Brian Douglas all the back. Brian Douglas still has the blinker still stuck on as he goes through. Brian Douglas is going to try it on the inside of Josh Kimball. Josh Kimball still covering the inside. And Douglas definitely giving him the adequate space that Kimball deserves here on this racetrack as both drivers are battling it out as they go through. Here goes Kimball and Douglas side by side, and they work their way onto the main straight as Hashbrook has now separated himself to 4.9 seconds from York. And Jaschke and Xander are still battling it out. This is definitely going to help Hashbrook in his championship battle, and Xander is definitely going to take a massive hit in his overall standings. It looks like AJ Silva loses it a little bit. It looks like Josh Kimball had a checkup right behind him as you see the flickering of the brake lights of the Ferraris. Battling it out. Now can Kimball make his run on AJ Silva? He goes super wide on the run. And here goes Brian Douglas on the rear of him as they go. AJ Silva is going to capture the inside as we see Allen Zoo in the back, definitely keeping an eye and watching from the distance as they go around. Here they go down in the left-right, this close battle as they continue and they keep growing. As we switch over to Andrew Jaschke, does not look like he has a lot of damage on his car. But let's take a look at Bruce Hopkins. Bruce Hopkins doesn't look like he has a damaged car. Does Christian Yorter have a lot of damage on his car? No, he doesn't. The question is what happened to York? Does Xander have a lot of damage on his car, or did... Question is, I'm very curious on what happened with Buckley as we see the races and the battles continue, as we see Josh Kimball and AJ Silva and Brian Douglas still nose to tail as they go through. As we see Andrew Jaschke, he is only 0.3 off the pace. As we see 64 and 47, the drivers of ASME are going a little slow. Oh, that was Danny Tyson. Here goes Brian Douglas on the inside of the Ferrari. He kind of has to let off the throttle as they go through. What can Josh Kimball do? Can he keep the position held as Douglas is going to try to go? Ooh, big game James. That's right. James up to P10 in the McLaren. As we see Kimball utilizing a lot of the curves, forcing Brian Douglas to really have to put in the work as we now slot ourselves up, because this is a podium spot for Andrew Jaschke in that BMW. He is trying to chase down all of Bruce Hopkins as Aiden Hashbrook is now pulling away in that McLaren. Definitely have to keep an eye as everything is rotating. As we see, can the BMW make the move on Bruce Hopkins? He's looking on the inside, brakes and checks up right behind Bruce in that Aston Martin as they go around. Now we have Xander. He's definitely picking up the pace, so this is going to help him in this overall fight against Andrew Jaschke, unless Andrew Jaschke can make a move on Bruce, but Bruce is slowly shutting the door on him ever so slightly, as we're going to drop right back down to Josh Kimball. And this three-way battles continue as Brian Douglas still has his blinker on. As we go through, what can Kimball do? He checks up as AJ kind of goes a little bit wide and brings his car back. Ooh, Brian Douglas goes on the inside move of Josh Kimball, but Josh Kimball still covers. Here we're going to see if the switchback is possible, and it doesn't seem like it's going to work. We're only 8 minutes in, and the announcer's probably going to lose his voice, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. 4 and 5 have reeled in Bruce Hopkins. They are nose to tail, ladies and gentlemen. Side by side as they go through. It looks like Jaschke has made it through, but Xander is definitely going to want to try to make something happen on Hopkins here as they come onto the main straight here at Silverstone. Hopkins is going to let him by. He knows he probably doesn't have the pace. Trainwreck 69, welcome to the Discord. Welcome to the Discord. Let's go, M. Erquez. He is definitely sitting P16, working his way up, trying to make something happen here in this race, in that Ferrari. And we're going to drop back down with Josh Kimball in this three-way battle as they go through. He is definitely trying to make something happen to AJ Silva, looking on the inside, and just he's got the run on the brakes, but AJ Silva just closes the door for him as the drivers are starting to spread out and pace out. This battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th is amazing between the drivers. The question is Brian Douglas must be going super crazy. Brian Douglas trying a different technique there as he goes through, as we see C. Bennett making his way around Peter David. Definitely being interesting to see that one, as Buckley from Ukraine, number 17, he's 3 laps down. Is he still racing? Number 73, let's take a look. He is still out there racing. Good on him, ladies and gentlemen. I do need to see what had happened and possibly take a look and then figure out what is going on, as now Jaschke and Xander. Oh, Douglas. Oh, Kimball, Douglas. It's a three-way tap out as Kimball and Douglas. Oh, and here comes Alan Zhu. Ooh. What happened to Brian Douglas? He had to go super wide. He's losing the back end on his car. As we go through here, so now that three-way battle is turned into a four-way battle, as Brian Douglas may have lost out, but that's going to bring Alan Zhu up into the mix, further up in the grid, as we see number 15, Andrew Jaschke, to dive into the pits. Looks like he is going for the extreme undercut here. Ladies and gentlemen, as we see him dive into the pits, looks like he's serving his pit stop strategy, as Josh Kimball is still working his way around. Question is, what happened to Brian Douglas in that battle overall? As we see Asmi, we're going to drop down with him, the driver from Singapore, trying to work his magic on Peter David here, coming up to Maggots and Beckett as they come through. What can Asmi do here in the McLaren? He is definitely looking super racy right behind Peter David, as Josh Kimball is still working everything he possibly can. Jump back side by side. Here they go down into the corner. Oh, Jaschke gets a 30-second stop go. Wow, that is definitely going to hurt his race overall in the in this battle that he has. He's sitting third in the championship series. Here goes Kimball as he's coming around the bend. Heavy on the brakes. Is he going to try the outside around AJ Silva? Side by side, both drivers go. Is he going to brake earlier to catch? And it looks like AJ Silva is going to try the switchback. And it looks like they are side. Oh, he's going to make it stick. Gives them enough space, but makes it around. What a beautiful play there by these drivers. Side by side, these two Ferrari drivers are going at it. They had a little bit of tap, but Kimball waited up for him. He didn't leave him hanging as they come through. What an amazing battle. This is the closest battle we have, ladies and gentlemen, as it is developing out. Let's see what else we have to go. AJ Silva sliding it a little bit. We do have one tight battle, and that's Azmi here. He's in P11. He is working his way up. As we see, looks like Peter David and Cole Bennett. He has made it through. Here goes Cole Bennett with that new Audi as he's working his way through. Definitely an interesting one in this race as they go through. Here, Cole Bennett trying to make something happen side by side. Here they go as they work their way through onto the front straight before they hit the fast right. Here goes Peter David down the inside of Azmi, and Cole Bennett still trying to. He gets a beautiful run. Azmi loses it a little bit. Cole Bennett side by side with Azmi. A little bit of a tap there. Excuse me. As we see Cole Bennett kind of making his way through, he's been able to stick it a little bit. As we see Enrique. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Enrique. Making it through there as they go through, as Azmi is still all over the back of Cole Bennett, trying to make it stick here as they go through. Now we're going to drop back up here with the Josh Kimball battle, as he is all over the back, and guess who that is? Stefan Buckley in the background, working his way back up the grid. The driver from Ukraine, he is still making it stick here, as we see Zoo moving out of the way for Buckley. Even though Buckley is a back marker, he is trying to make something happen. We have 45 minutes left to play, ladies and gentlemen, as we see Buckley makes his way around Zoo, and he is going to push as fast as he possibly can and possibly help Zoo catch up to the two drivers ahead of him, which is Kimball and AJ Silva, as this battle continues. Here they go. So Kimball gets a beautiful run. Ukrainian Stefan, yes. Straight from Texas, straight from Ukraine. I don't know if he's from Texas. As they go through, Josh Kimball, as we lose, yeah, it looks like we lose Andrew Jaschke as they go through here. Let's see what happens as, oh, Kimball looks on the inside. Here goes Kimball making his way through. Buckley definitely trying to make something happen as the grid is still battling it out. Enrique is going for the complete undercut, the complete undercut strategy by pitting early. And here goes Kimball. He tries it on the super on the inside, and Silva just gets a beautiful run out of the hole on him. And it is just not setting it up very well for him as we watch this battle continually develop, ladies and gentlemen. As the Ukrainian Stefan Buckley is trying on the inside of Josh Kimball as he goes through. And Stefan Buckley is trying not to get in the way. He was hoping probably to make that move stick and just pull as fast as possible. And here's Alan Zhu trying to make something happen behind Stefan Buckley as we go through here. as we wait to see as this continues to battle it out. This is just continuously developing. AJ Silva goes wide, Kimball goes wide, Buckley gets a beautiful run with the BMW, a little bumpy on the suspension. Here goes Buckley on the inside. They're holding him up. I know it's holding him up, but here comes Buckley on the inside. Is he gonna make it through? That's the question. Buckley is not trying to hold them up, but he also knows that these guys are driving, these guys are fighting for position. Buckley is also down 3 laps because he served his damage into the pits. So right now, Buckley's kind of holding them up, but kind of not holding them up in this battle for P5 and P6, with Zoo also in tow with P7 here. So Buckley can actually help them out in working their way up in this grid order. Oh, Kimball goes to kind of close the door just a hair to make it work as he's going to try the inside, but Silva with the switchback, and Kimball goes super wide and catches the dirt. That's going to let Buckley through. Same with Alan Zoo as they work their way up. And now here comes Josh Kimball as he's making his way. And behind them is Brian Douglas and Daniel Rosso. And here goes Buckley. He's going to have to let Kimball go through because he is a blue flag. And now the battle for 6 and 7 begin as the Porsche driver. We're about to approach the 30-minute mark of the. He has to be very patient. Sort of keyboard. You know, he's 3 laps down, and this is a fight for position for these drivers. You know what I mean? It's you want to be able to skip these guys and move up the grid, but you just can't force yourself through and hope for the best as they go through here. Ooh, as Kimball gets a beautiful run on Zoo. Zoo losing the back end just a hair as we work our way up. Let's see what is going to happen. This battle has been growing substantially. Kimball has the pace to take it. Buckley is 3 laps down. He is a blue flag driver, and he has the pace. I think he's probably just going to check up and wait behind these 3 drivers as the battle continues on. But right behind them, we have Daniel Rosso and Brian Douglas battling it out. The McLaren and the Porsche teams are fighting it out. As we switch back up here with Alan Zoo, this Porsche has an amazing acceleration out of the hole against the Ferrari driver of Josh Kimball, and they are making their way up to AJ Silva. I think, if I'm possible, Buckley may have taken tires and did the damage and everything else like that, and fuel. He's probably going to try to pit right at the last minute in hopes that something can happen for himself in this race. He is definitely making up times to M. Enrique, who is P15 right now in this race. And here they go onto the short chute straightaway as they come through. Ooh, Kimball had to check up on the brakes and miss out. Buckley's making his way through. Buckley has now found an opening. He couldn't just sit back and wait for Kimball to make his way through, so hopefully Buckley can help out Kimball here in this race and make Zoo fall back behind as we see Xander, the number 3 driver, our championship leader, right now. He is in the pit serving his pit strategy right now as we go through. And we see Trinidad, he has joined into the chat with me and wanted to wish everybody the best of luck. For those that do not know, Ethan Trinidad is a wonderful. Ooh, and AJ Silva looked like he lost it a little bit. I apologize, everybody. And Brian Douglas is on the outside of AJ Silva as AJ Silva is trying to make something happen here. Brian Douglas makes it around, but here comes Stefan Buckley again in this overall battle as Daniel Rosso has stepped out. So right now, the leader of the championship, Leighton Xander, is the only driver to have pitted so far in the race, and we are just waiting. He is falling down a good amount from that Mercedes as Enrique in P15 is now only a lap. Ooh, and AJ Silva blew the corner there. Looks like he must have missed his braking zone and treated it almost like an F1 car and thought he could possibly turn and go. And that did not help him out as all, as Daniel Rosso in the Porsche is making his way up the grid as we switch over with Brian Douglas now. The battle that originally ensued with AJ Silva, Josh Kimball, and Brian Douglas. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here comes Brian Douglas and Josh Kimball for this battle for 4, 5, and 6. Now developing as they are about to make their way onto the main straight. For the viewers that are watching, welcome, welcome, welcome. And please give us a shout out in the chat if you think there's going to be a drive. Josh Kimball tries it on the inside. And he makes it stick as Alan Zhu. As we see AJ Silva has dove into the pits. Josh Kimball covering the brakes, catching a lot of the curb there as they make their way up. Zhu runs super wide. It's going to allow Brian Douglas to get a much more better run up to Maggots and Beckett's as they go through here in this race. Brian Douglas all over the back end of Alan Zhu here in the Porsche. Here comes the black and blue McLaren. Definitely getting a beautiful run all over the back end of that Porsche as they come through. Josh Kimball is going to get a little bit of a separation due to the fact that those two cars are battling it out overall in this fight. Can Brian Douglas make something happen here as he looks on the inside? Alan Zhu's going to cover the outside because as they come around this bend and into the left-hand turn, Alan Zhu is going to have the inside advantage. But does Brian Douglas try to switch back on him? He doesn't, as he's also in the pits in that P12 for that McLaren. He's doing a wonderful job in this race, showcasing a lot of performance as he comes through. Here comes the McLaren driver, Stefan Buckley, still on the back end of them, trying to make something happen to make his way back up the grid and possibly trying to get a 1 extra point that's in that P15 spot. But he's waiting for Enrique to drop off here as Brian Douglas is trying everything he can with the late braking as the Porsche is covering up all the exits as they go through. This battle is definitely insinuating extremely, but the question is, with 25 minutes left to play in the pit rotation, for those that are new to GTMR Racing or GT Meister Racing, we have a 60-minute race, 1 pit stop rotation. It's mandatory to take tires, and the pit window is 40 minutes long. So from 50 to 10, you can pit whenever you would like. But the question is when will it actually play out for you, or will you falter from it? If you're liking what you're seeing and you want to join in with us, definitely take a look at our Discord link that we will have in chat, and join us and race. Reach out to myself, Axia, in the grid, in the Discord. I'll be more than happy to help you join us in the GT3 Championship Series. We are round 5. We have 3 more races after this for this battle. It'll definitely be wonderful to have you guys here in this overall competition, in this fight, as we start to see Brian Douglas still all over the back of Alan Zhu, trying to make it happen here with that McLaren against that Porsche. The Porsche goes super wide. Does Brian Douglas try a switch back? He does, deep down into the late on the brake, side by side. Ooh, Zhu tries, but Douglas gets a little bit of a cut there. He kind of shuts the door on Alan Zhu, forcing him to check up on the brakes, but Zhu gets a beautiful run. Douglas is covering on the inside. Zhu is trying to play it perfectly, trying to set his line up to make Douglas go super wide, and Douglas goes super wide. Douglas catches the grass. He loses it. Buckley has to dodge him. What a horrible re-entry to the track. He should have just stayed to the left. That caused an incident of a driver. What a shame for Stefan Buckley. What a horrible race he is having. As we see Brian Douglas now trying to make things happen here in this race. That was horrible. I mean, you lose it. I get it. You want to stay, but with a car, whether or not they're blue flag or they're, or they're, I mean, you're in the competition. I mean, you can't just, you can't just all of a sudden re-enter, and now his tires are definitely losing it because of that heavy aggressive attack. He probably lit up his tires, and here comes the other Porsche of Daniel Rosso in that battle. He should have just sacrificed the corner, went to the left, pulled off, you know what I mean, pulled off to the side and re-entered in a different orientation than trying to push that corner. Yeah, Stefan definitely had to let off to miss. It's a shame that what happened to Stefan. Definitely going to be having a talk with Douglas as the driver here at GTMR, just, you know, and reiterating for a lot of the drivers to, you know, if you're going to make a mistake like that and stuff like that, be aware of your surroundings. Definitely don't try to cut the corner like that, because there's so much of those curbing there that, you know, I mean, what happens if he bounces and sends the car off the track and the next thing you know hits another car? And here comes Brian Douglas with Daniel Rosso on the back end. Douglas tries to late brake as he covers the inside. Alan Zhu goes super late and misses out. Now that's going to let Daniel Rizzo go through side by side. Alan's going to have to be the loser out of that and check out of that, the Porsche driver. So this is definitely going to help Daniel Rosso slot himself into P7 in this battle here as we go through. James Park slots himself up to P8. Granted, the pit rotation still hasn't gone through for the top 9 drivers as we see Peter David dive into the pits. Poor that Buckley had to go back to the pits and come back out of the pits, which is a shame. I really feel bad for Buckley, but he did serve his pit strategy. I just hope that, you know, this does not happen again. But as we continue here in this race, we have a massive battle for 5, 6, and 7. Josh Kimball looking outside in that P4. It's just the question is how is this all going to play out as Alan Zhu makes his way on the inside of Daniel Rosso. Porsche driver side by side, yin and yang, white and black. Here they go. Alan gets a beautiful run on Daniel Rosso, definitely making him put that Porsche into work as they make their way up, coming up to Maggots and Baggots as they go through. And you can see a little bit in the distance of that camera shot, Josh Kimball coming out of the S's, out of the back end of the S's, as, ooh, Daniel Rosso super late on the brakes. Sometimes, as Sword and Keyboard says in the shout, sometimes I enjoy watching or announcing much more than being in the race. That is true. Sometimes there are some moments where you're in the race and you're kind of just clinched up a little bit only due to the fact of how close the battles are happening. It is truly an interesting one as the drivers go through. So we're actually going to jump up real quick and right along board our champion, our race leader right now, Mr. Aiden Hashbrook in the McLaren. We're going to ride along board in the cockpit view and see a lap around Silverstone. Here we go. And there we see the lap around Silverstone as we see Aiden Hashbrook dive into the pits with his McLaren. Definitely going to have to keep an eye on him to see where he is going to come out. But right now, he is in the pits, and Josh Kimball is now leading this race. Almost leading this race. We still have to wait for him to make his way around the track and make his way up to the championship fight. And we are going to try to get ourselves out of Helicam, and we are out of Helicam. As Josh Kimball is making way, as Christian York, as we saw during that lap, Chrysler York, I apologize, P6 has already served his pit strategy, and then it's going to slot a P6 ahead of Lane Xander, who's about 6.9 seconds behind him in that Mercedes. So this is definitely going to help out a lot of the other drivers and their points. And here comes Josh Kimball into the pits. Brian Douglas, does he dive into the pits? No, he is going for the super late strategy. Alan Zhu, he's staying out. Daniel Rosso, he's diving into the pits. Ooh, that was super. Oh, here he goes. Break, 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 break. He is good. And across the line they go. Now, the question is where is Chrysler York going to come out of? We follow along board with him. He is already past everybody, and he is making his way through in that beautiful yellow and green McLaren. He is driving a wonderful race. And here they go. Let's see. We have Cole Bennett. He has dove into the pits. And Danny Tykes, a driver we saw a lot out of him during qualifying, but he has been super quiet during the race. Josh Kimball, who's sitting P5 in the ARC Mods car here at GTMR Racing, a partner league with us. Super helpful, wonderful people. Definitely a blast to have them be a part of our league. He is just coming out of the pit, so that's going to slot him right behind Daniel Rosso, but ahead of Bruce Hopkins. Oh, actually right behind. So pretty much we're just going to be waiting to see where Douglas and Zoo pit to see where the rotation works. Oh, and he just definitely, something must have happened there as he completely just blew that corner. What a shame there for Josh Kimball. Probably newer tires and fuel and wasn't expecting. Something must have happened there. What a shame. As we ride along board Chrysler York as he is chasing down Alan Zhu in that P3 of that Porsche as we go through. For the viewers that are still watching, if there's a driver that you'd like to watch us follow here around the track, please let me know. Right now, so far, the closest battle that is about to develop is this one here that we see in front of us of Chrysler York and Alan Zhu developing. But it looks like Alan Zhu dives in the pit, so we're going to scratch that one off the books. But right now, Peter David, 8/10 off the pace as he is chasing down James Parks. And then it looks like M. Enrique is pulled off the grid to get out of the way from the drivers. And Peter David is still trying to make the performance here on James Parks. Peter David looking super strong. Gets a beautiful run on the McLaren. James Parks just lets him through, which is definitely a huge shocker. I was hoping that these two drivers would battle it out even tougher here on the track. As we see Daniel Rosso in the pits, Alan Zhu in the pits. Now let's jump back aboard Josh Kimball right now. After that interesting turn one start. And here comes Josh Kimball as he's about to cross the line. So where is that going to put him with Alan Zhu? Alan Zhu is done with his pit rotation. Here comes Josh Kimball, and around the corner, side by side, they should be coming out of pit lane. Here, Alan Zhu's just getting out onto the lane there. So right now, Xander's going to slot himself up to P4 while we're still waiting on Brian Douglas. And let's see where Brian Douglas is at. Here he is. Brian Douglas is coming through. He's got 13 minutes left to play here in the race. The question is he going to push it to the last couple minutes to make something happen here? Let's see. Daniel Rosso is going to be coming out right behind Alan Zhu. but ahead of AJ Silva in that Ferrari, which is definitely wonderful. And Danny Tykes definitely stretching that Lexus out super far. What an amazing race as we see Brian Douglas dive into the pits here, which is definitely going to be a wonderful, as Chrysler York goes around here. And we start to see Lane Zander make his way. He's still looking at that top 3 finish as he goes through in this race. But the question is where is Brian Douglas going to come out? The question is Josh Kimball. Let's see. We're going to ride along board Josh Kimball. He's coming through here in the Sector 3 section of Silverstone in that ARC Mods Ferrari. And he comes up to this short shoot straightaway piece here as he comes through. Beautiful run looking on that Ferrari. Ooh, the back end kind of slides, it steps out, and Danny Tykes dives into the pits. Definitely an interesting call there. I wasn't too sure if Danny Tykes was going to try to stretch it, but Douglas is done with his pits. He is moving along, but it looks like Josh Kimball is going to get him. But the question is Alan Zhu going to get Brian Douglas? So here comes Alan Zhu as he goes through. Where's Brian Douglas? Brian Douglas just came out of the pits, so he's going to have to get those tires up to temps as he comes through Maggots and Beckett. He's going to have the fresher set of tires for this battle against Josh Kimball through this pit cycle. We're going to wait for it to cycle through here. On my leaderboard, it should need to be cyclable. We'll just give it a little bit. Takes a little bit of time as they go through. Yep, and here we go. So far, we have Aiden Hashbrook, Chrysler York, Lane Zander, Bruce Hopkins, Josh Kimball, Brian Douglas, Alan Zhu, Danny Tykes is in the pit. AJ Silva is going to slop himself into P8. Asmi P10. Beautiful drive by this driver from Singapore. Huge shout out. We've seen a lot of strong performance out of him. Super happy to see him doing good. He's developed very well here at GTMR and definitely showed a lot of promise and pace as we go through. Doesn't look like Brian Douglas is really making a whole lot of movement on Josh Kimball. And we've seen the McLarens make their laps around the tracks as we follow along the Mercedes-Benz of Lane Zander so far right now. This is helping him in the overall championship lead. But we'll definitely have to see if this affects him even more as we go through. Let's see, who else do we have here? A bit of a Audi flying through number 26. That is a Ferrari of M. Enrique coming through here in this few bends. Definitely looking strong. Definitely good performance here. He's a little off the pace, but you know, it's definitely a work to be had here in this race as we have 19 minutes left to play here and 9 minutes left of the pit window. As we go through here, what's the closest battle here? Josh Kimball looking strong through Maggots and Beckett's. Right now, everybody's separated pretty well on the track here. As Danny Tykes, he's down to P14. He was definitely looking super strong probably during the pit rotation. He's on the back end of Cole, and he's got the race leader of Aiden Hashbrook on the back end of him as they come through onto the main straight. Danny Tykes definitely looking super strong in that Lexus, trying to push as fast as he possibly can. See what he can do. Can he make it stick? We know you're going to get blue flag through here. Wait till after Maggots and Beckett's to move out of the way for Aiden and make his way through. Here we go onto the main straight. He lets him through. Danny Tykes, what a wonderful job there was as they go through. So right now we are going to ride along board Josh Kimball Where is he in the group order? Josh Kimball, as he's going to be coming through. We'll be right along board with him for a lap around Silverstone in that ARC Mods Ferrari number 978. There's already talks of him moving to Team Audi next season, and seeing how he does there as we get going on his lap around Silverstone. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a lap around Silverstone in the Ferrari of Josh Kimball. Here sitting P5, one of his best performances so far, as we slot down back to P12, where we see James Parks and Daniel Rosso battling it out, as Daniel Rosso loses out on the corner there. And that's going to allow James Parks through here in this race. As we wait to see if any other battles are battling out, it is not. So we're going to switch over to see where Alan Zhu, he's going through Maggots and Beckett's in that Porsche. Definitely have to keep an eye on him as he's going through the track. We'll have to catch him a one-way round and try to get the onboard view of him as he makes his lap around the track, as we have 14 minutes left to play with a 4-minute left on the pit window strategy, as the drivers are definitely showing a lot of the pace and performance here. Let's see, what else do we have? Are there any other close battles? Does not look like we have any close battles, but then we're going to ride along board and drop down the drivers in the grid order. We have Aiden Hashbrook leading this race series with Chrysler York, utilizing a custom one-off livery for Silverstone, doing the Brits proud in that McLaren, definitely showing a lot of performance. And Lane Sanders slotting himself the championship leader in the Mercedes P3, with Bruce Hopkins in the Aston Martin, the livery for Ukraine, in P4. Josh Kimball, we saw him a little bit earlier in that Ferrari, slotting himself P5. Brian Douglas in the McLaren, he is chasing him down. He wants that P5 spot in the overall championship. And Andrew Jaschke is out. He did not make it, so Alan Zhu, he is in P7, definitely making his way with the in the Porsche. Definitely looking super strong, and we're going to have to hold off on this with Brian Douglas looks to be gaining on Josh Kimball pretty quick here. So we're going to ride along board Brian Douglas and see where he's going to be able to see. Let's take a look at this when they go into the S's of Maggots and Beckett's. You can see him just fighting that car as it starts to push away and slide. Definitely a lot of strong performance there, as Daniel Rosso is now caught up the back of James Parks. Ooh, James Parks goes super wide. Daniel Rosso gets a run on the inside. Here they go through onto the main straight. The Porsche definitely covering the inside super deep on the in. Now here comes the McLaren side by side. Who is going to give up the turn? Daniel Rosso lets out, and James Parks manages to squeeze by. Daniel Rosso still trying to make something happen as they come up to the S's. Daniel Rosso, this position is for big amount of points. Daniel Rosso catches a lot of the curb. He is definitely using all of it with that Porsche there in that white Porsche. So right now, James Parks sitting 17th with 10 points. Daniel Rosso, he has yet to score points with us. So this is definitely going to help him overall, trying to slide his way up. Now with this battle here, ooh, as Daniel Rosso goes super late on the brakes, you can see the Spitfire as we are about to jump up ahead for the battle for P5, as Brian Douglas is now 8/10 up from Josh Kimball. This is a big moment. Brian Douglas needs this to move up further. Josh Kimball needs this to stay in front to move up further in the grid. Ferrari versus McLaren, the pride of Britain on the shoulders of this McLaren. If the McLaren can jump Kimball and make his way up, hopefully Douglas can make something happen. Hopefully he put enough fuel in the car as he gets a beautiful run on those fresher tires. Fife is covering the inside, coming up to Maggots and Beckett. Side by side they go. Kimball gets a better run on the turn. Douglas is going to have to check out as they go through. Douglas running super deep. It's going to mess him up on the final corner. He won't be able to have the run that he wants on Kimball as they come through. Here they go. Dude, don't want to look at him that way. Takes a look on the inside. Super late on the brakes. Gets all over the back end of the bumper there. From the bonnet view, deep into the brakes. He sent it super deep. Thankfully, Fife was there to see. But side by side they go. Douglas makes it past. That was a lucky one by Douglas, making that move stick. Super lucky by Douglas making that stick. If Fife, thankfully Fife was able to see him there and check out of there rather than being hit. And here comes Fife all over the back of Douglas as they come around the bends. Here they go. Fife super deep on Douglas. Can he make the switchback happen on Douglas? Tries to make the same maneuver. Try to make Douglas try to lose out there as we see the 26 car in the pits. Enrique is in the pits. Interesting, as Cole Bennett makes his way around James Parks as well for P12. Apologize, I didn't catch that. As Josh Kimball makes his way around, he's definitely going to be looking to make something happen on that McLaren driver of Brian Douglas. And looks like, ooh, Enrique must have underfueled, and he's definitely going to have to, definitely had to take on more fuel. And that seemed like a very fast pit strategy. As we start to see Josh Kimball as they go through the S's. Will Kimball get a better run than Douglas? Here goes Kimball down into the corners. Side by side they go. Beautiful run out of Kimball goes. Now the Ferrari's going to be in the front, number P15. He's going to have to slide his way out of it as we now start to see Danny Tykes, P14, make his way towards the back of James Parks. That's definitely going to be a battle to happen. Question is the Ferrari move? He does move out of the way. He allows the two drivers to continue their battle without infringing it. As they go through, here goes Josh Kimball down into the few corners here as he makes his way around. It looks like Josh Kimball still stays in there within that grabbing distance to make something happen. We're just waiting to see if Danny Tykes reels in James Parks a little bit more. It's showing 6/10. And if it gets any closer, we're going to switch over to that battle for that P13 as they go through, as Kimball catches a little bit of the curbing. That's going to make him fall off the pace a little bit to Douglas. Yep, and it goes to about 1.1 seconds. He's got to hope Douglas makes a mistake in the first few corners as they go through. Danny Tykes is 3/10 up. We're going to switch over to the battle here. The Lexus on the inside of the McLaren. He's taking a look into the fast right-hand corner. He checks up right behind it. James Parks gets the beautiful run out of the corner. Danny Tykes checks out. Is he going to make the move? He's trying to take a look down on the inside. No, he doesn't. He brakes early. Tries to throw James off as he goes into the corner. Around the bend they go onto the F1 main straight. The Lexus is trying to get a beautiful run on the McLaren. Doesn't seem like it really does. That Lexus has beautiful pace and performance. Overall, here they go through. The Lexus looking very stout and very clean as he gets a beautiful run through the few corners as they go. Danny Tykes, we have 6 minutes and 51 seconds left to play as M. Enrique dives into the pits again. I think he possibly didn't grab enough fuel for the car, as Danny Tykes definitely looking to make something happen here in this race. If he slots himself up to P13 ahead of James Parks, that's going to give him a good amount of points and hopefully to tie him out with James Parks in this championship fight with them. And they'll be sitting roughly about 16 and 18 in the overall championship series. Here goes Danny Tykes. Nice, clean. Didn't utilize a lot of the curb. Didn't want to upset the car as he was driving. Through Maggots and Beckett's. Beautiful battle with 733 and Lane Xander as the front runners are still trying to make their way through the grid. So we see Lane Xander. He is ahead of Daniel Rosso, ahead of these two drivers, as we see the drivers in front of them with Cole Bennett, P12. He's just going through this right-hander bend here as he's making his way into the left-right chicane for the F1 straight. And it seems like James Parks got his groove back, because he is now pulled away from Danny Tykes, as we'll just jump back aboard the leaders of the race. Let's see, Bruce Hopkins, number 4 driver, number 60 on the car. He is coming through here. He is on the fast pace. He is definitely looking at a very solid performance with this driver. Definitely super strong. Overall, very balanced with the car. Didn't have a whole lot of issues. I mean, he's been doing a wonderful race. I got hats off to him as a driver here, as we definitely hope. And it looks like Josh Kimball's lost out a lot of time on Brian Douglas, who's sitting P5 right now. Let's see, definitely congratulations to Alan Zhu for showing up. He is sitting P7 right now in the overall race in here, and P7 is going to slot him up pretty high in the championship standings. He's going to be about mid-pack in the championship overall, leading probably be about 15, 16 in the overall points here. We go through here. Daniel Rosso, beautiful run. Danny Tykes making his way back in. He is now all over the back of James Parks. James must have made a mistake here. Now here comes Danny, and Danny's probably gonna tell me it's probably because I'm commentating about him. Then that's why he's backing off the pace. If he backs off the pace, then he knows that I'll stop talking about him. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep talking about him. All right, Danny, let's see if you can push it. You've got 3 minutes and 35 seconds to play, and let's see a P13 out of you, buddy, as he's looking to make the move. Gets a beautiful run on James Parks in that McLaren as they go through the fast right. James Parks covering the inside super well, as Danny Tykes has to check out a little bit as they come through here. Beautiful camera angle here as we see them more on the level field as they come through here onto the main F1 straightaway. For those that don't know, this is the main straight that Formula One uses here at Silverstone. Their grandstands. The GT3 Belong GT3 series for Assetto Corsa Competizione, or SRO, uses theirs on the Sector 3 part of the track. Well, 1 and 2 as they go through here. As Danny Tykes gets a beautiful run. That's going to cause James Parks to go a little bit wide. Now the question is, does Tykes get a better run on him coming out of the corner? And it looks like he does. He manages to reel him in a little bit earlier. Let's see what's going to happen. We're going to ride along board the bonnet of the hood of the car of Danny Tykes and see where James Parks is making a bit of his mistakes here in this race, as we still have 2 minutes left to play. So ladies and gentlemen, this is probably going to be the final lap battle of these drivers. As we go through in the helicopter cam, we see them making their way. James Parks gets a beautiful run out of the corner, but then Tykesman gets a better run. He stays away from the curbing as we start to see the Lexus make his way down the back straight here, trying to chase down the McLaren. Look at that beautiful speed out of that Lexus. The Japanese performance of that RCF as they come through here. Can he make, is Danny Tykes going to send it at the last minute to make something stick here in this corner? He doesn't. He makes it smooth and clean, but James Parks is racing a beautiful race, trying to cover all the marks from Danny Tykes. Danny Tykes runs it super wide. Here they go through. Fast right, left as they go through here. We're just waiting for the white flag for the last race. Aiden Hashbrook is probably going to cross the line, and that's going to be the last lap. He's about to make it onto the main straight as he goes through. Once the white flag appears. Okay, here they go. They got 30 seconds remaining. Here they go. Come on, Tykes. You've got this. You've got a few more corners to make it stick. Here he goes. He's definitely being super patient with the move. He's going to have, if he wants P13, he's going to have to make something stick here soon. He's now all over the back of James. Here they go through the final corner. 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This possibly, is it going to be the final lap for them, or is it going to finish them off in the race? Here they go as they cross the line. They're going to have one more lap to go. Here goes Danny Tykes. He's got to make it try to stick. As they go through here, Danny Tykes now all over the back of James Parks. This is the closest battle we have, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, Danny. And come on, James. Block them all you can. Respectfully, though. And here comes the Lexus of the driver of Danny Tykes as he's making his way from P14 to P13. He is definitely trying to do something happen on the McLaren of James Parks. The viewers want to see you send it, Danny. Send it. Here they go through the fast right-hand turn. Here goes Danny Tykes. He's trying to make it work. Gets a beautiful run on James. Is he going to make it stick? No, he breaks a little bit earlier to line him up, but this should help him get a beautiful run on James. You can see him reel James in. Here he goes. Oh, they're going to be going side by side. Tykes goes super wide. He's going to check up. Come on, Tykes. You've got this. This is the last lap battles. Aiden Hashbrook sets the fastest lap of the race. The driver that's in P1, here they go. We have a yellow flag, P1. Kimball, it looks like he either crashed or something happened at the end of the race. And here they go. It looks like something happened to Kimball. Oh, he was probably waiting for Aiden to go by to finish the race so we wouldn't have another lap to go, which is a shame. And here goes Tykes. Come on, Tykes. Make the move on the inside as they go through. This is the last lap battle, but we're going to switch over to Bennett. They should have crossed the line. Oh, Peter David loses it. Tykes looks on the inside. He tried to send it a little bit. Peter David, here they go. They're going to squeeze past. Looks like Peter David lost it a little bit. Here goes Danny Tykes. He's going to make it, try to go around the outside. He does it around the outside. Around the outside on the main straight. What a beautiful move by Danny Tykes here in this race. Around the outside of James Parks to slot himself into P. Oh, what a beautiful finish. What a beautiful finish. Okay, we're going to jump up to the few drivers that are still finishing up their laps. Brian Douglas is coming up to the last part of the corner. Here he goes. Wow, yes, swords and keyboard. Yes, wow. What a beautiful finish by Danny Tykes going to dead deft. Oh, my. Ooh. That was beautiful as Brian Douglas is going to slot himself in this race. We're going to wait till the end while everything cycles through for the finishing order as we see Alan Zhu. What an amazing performance he had here in this race. Oh my God. What a beautiful finish there was, battling throughout the whole entire race. As we watch Alan Zhu, he is about to cross the line. He slots himself in, and here comes AJ Silva as he works his way around for the final lap of the race. He is about to cross the line, and here he goes. Ooh. And James Parks there in the chat. Damn it, Tykes, you got me at the line. What an amazing battle for these drivers. Aiden Hashbrook, P1, York, P2, Xander, P3, Hopkins, 4, Douglas, 5, Zoo, 7, Zoo, 6, AJ Silva, 7th, Kimball, 8, Asmi, 9, Rozo, 10, Bennett, 11, Tykes, 12th. Just catching out James Parks, P13, Peter David, P14. What an amazing, I know, Tom, what an amazing fish by these drivers. What an amazing battle. But right now, what the big talk is definitely going to be is one of those. We're going to try to get the drivers of that finished in the podium in here and have a beautiful talk as we go through. But first, we're going to try to get these drivers as we go through. So let's just get these drivers in this chat so we can talk with them as we are about to get started here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us is your P3 finisher, Xander. And we are going to be pulling Little Taquito and Mr. York, your P1 and P2 finisher, into the booth here as we go through. Welcome Taquito, our P1 finisher. We'll be beginning with him shortly, and we will be grabbing a few other drivers. Mr. York also. Welcome to the 3 drivers. I apologize. I did a little bit of a God move in the Discord and slotted them down into my group. I just want to say congratulations to every driver, everybody that participated, everybody that performed here for the league. What an incredible finish. I'd like to say a huge shout out to Little Taquito on his win and fastest lap here at Silverstone. Huge shout out to Chrysler York, who finished P2 with a big performance, and Lane Xander, who managed to make his way and work his way back up to a P3 finish here at Silverstone. We're going to get started off with this Little Taquito. Actually, you know, we're going to start with P3, work our way up. Xander, we saw a lot of strong performances out of you throughout this season. Definitely one where you were taking the battle to Jashki. Can you talk us through your battle with him in the race? It seemed as if there may have been something that happened between him. We did not see it during the race. It looked like you guys were going side by side and something happened.
Yeah, it was first lap, you know, me, Taquito, and Andrew were close on qualifying, so we know it was going to be close in the race. And first lap, you never want anything to happen on the first lap, but it's the best lap to gain positions. And I don't think I did anything extraordinary. I think I was holding my line and he came across on me. Maybe that's wrong. Racers have their opinions. I'll have to see a replay to know for sure what happened there, though. I waited up for him, so definitely shows that I didn't mean to wreck him on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, what a wonderful finish for you to slot yourself into P3. Definitely helping you in your overall championship standing, especially with Jashki and Aiden definitely coming out swinging for the fences, and especially like Chrysler York definitely showcasing his pace here at GTMR, as we've seen him fall back a little bit in the prior races, but I mean, he is definitely swinging for the fences. He definitely came for you here at Silverstone with that McLaren. And with that, we are going to jump over and talk to the P2 driver, Mr. York, Texas Racing, here in the special liveried McLaren that he was running. Chrysler York, congratulations on your P2. What an amazing finish. I'm pretty sure that this race a little bit boring for you. Didn't look like you had a whole lot of battle once the front three kind of finished their little tussle.
Actually, it was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, I gained a lot from that little kerfuffle in the beginning, but then I knew that there were fast drivers that would come and knock on the door, like Sander and who else was I looking for to come up? Yeah, Jashki. I was surprised. I mean, I don't know what, I had to look at the stream what happened with him, but Sander, I was looking at your times all the time. So I was racing you the whole after the pit stop, I was racing you. So I looked at, I think you were like 5 seconds, getting down to 5 seconds, and then I was able to just up my pace enough to keep you at bay. So I'm super stoked over this race because I think I was really consistent. I have to look at my times, but yeah, really good race. I had my Harrods special livery on, racing green and yellow. So yeah, good race. I loved it.
What an amazing finish for you again. I mean, this is definitely going to help you out in the championship series, as you were sitting P5 overall in the championship standings, tied with Brian Douglas. And with this is actually going to help you slot up, considering the fact that Andrew Cooper did not race, Andrew Jashki did not finish the race, and Eric Howell was not here. And those were the three drivers that were ahead of you in the overall championship series. So this will actually put you right around P2 in the overall championship series here in this race. So definitely looking super strong. Of course, now your main competitor is Xander, and you just got to, figure out a way to push them out. Chrysler, yes, I know Kean. I apologize, Chrysler. I don't mean to botch your name. As Willie is sitting in chat yelling at me.
That's all right.
And we are going to P1. Aiden Hashbrook, or AKA in the Discord, Little Taquito. Congratulations on your win at Silverstone. We heard from Xander his view of what happened between you guys and Jashki. You have seemed as if at the start of the race, you, Jashki, and Xander, all three of you were super battling out, definitely giving each other extreme amount of space and room. And it seemed like the minute you had your chance, you checked out and pulled away. Does this race here, aside from the performance that you held at Misano, does this race here actually showcase more of your performance to show Xander that you're a much more of a competitor than what he actually thought you were in this championship series? Taquito?
He said mic doesn't work.
Oh, his mic doesn't work. Oh, what a shame. What a shame, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to answer for Taquito, and that is, yes, I'm a massive competitor towards Xander. I'm here to take the championship, take it all in front of Xander. That is what Taquito is telling me to tell everybody else, even though I'm pretty sure he's typing to me, telling me something else. But I'm going to avoid that. But I just would like to say congratulations to all the viewers that came to watch, and also all the drivers. For the top three finishers, that were not here, definitely take a huge shout out to Danny Tykes in the Discord as he passed James Parks for P12 right on the last lap, right before crossing the line. He just crossed ahead of James Parks to take P12 from P13. So let's give a huge shout out to all the drivers that are in it, especially some of the drivers in the back of our grid who definitely give us an amazing performance, an amazing show. And if you'd like to join us, please, you can catch us out on SimGrid, and you can check us out on Grid Finder, as well as check out our Discord link that we have in the Twitch stream here. And I'd like to say thank you guys all. We will be here next week, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be racing at, if I'm correct, Paul Ricard. And then it'll be Imola and Zolder, so definitely be interesting to see all of you guys here racing. I just want to wish all of you guys the best, and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week, Friday, 9 p.m.